Hey, Cub fans. Welcome back to Randy Talks Cubs. Thanks for joining us. Cubs dropped a heartbreaker to the Red Sox tonight, 5-4 in walk-off fashion. Went into the ninth tied at 4, and bottom of the ninth, Sox get the winning run, walk it off, and it was a little tough. We made a comeback late and made it interesting, and I'm just thinking, we're depleted, and I think our depleted roster really showed up tonight and last night. You can start to see it, and it's not surprising. So we got some roster moves that were made today. I want to share those with you and talk a little bit about where we were in this depletion, what we're dealing with. But roster moves are this: Jordan Wicks has been put on the 15-day disable list, left forearm strain. And at the same time, Luke Little has been optioned back to Iowa after his little blow-up that he had a couple days ago. So that doesn't really surprise me. The corresponding actions were to bring up Richard Lovelady and Daniel Palencia, who both pitched tonight and did very well. I'll give you those numbers. So those were the most recent roster moves. But taking a step back, and we've been playing really well with this depleted roster. We dropped to 17-11, but our roster is depleted. Let me give you the little bit of a rundown in case you haven't really been thinking much about it or paying attention. We're down Steele. I know he's on his way back here hopefully in about a week, but we've been without Steele since opening day, our ace. Bellinger's out. Seiya Suzuki's out. I could stop right there and go, that's probably our three best players. It's our best pitcher and our two best hitters, our 2 and 3 hitters, and we've been without them and are without them. In addition, we lost Merriweather. We don't talk about that much, but Merriweather at this point would be a seventh inning guy for sure, maybe eighth, and you could be closing for him. Now Wicks is down. We've got Smiley that's down, and remember Caleb Killian. He was originally thought to be going to be part of this. And Kyle Hendricks, of course, didn't, he's on the IL right now too, but he just didn't pan out. So a lot of the players that we were depending on coming into this season aren't here. It's a ton, and it's still April. It's kind of amazing. So, I don't know, the good news in it, we are 17-11. We do have Steele coming back. At some point, we're going to get Belly and Seiya and hopefully Merriweather and Wicks. My understanding is Cade Horton is pitching really well, so this may necessitate a little earlier arrival for Cade Horton. We'll have to see. But that's sort of the situation we find ourselves in. And then tonight, we run into a buzzsaw with this Tanner Houck. My God, he goes 6 2/3, gives up 4 hits, a run, strikes out 9, and didn't walk anybody. He's got a 1.60 ERA. And he gets pulled with 2 outs in the 7th pitch count. And I'm glad it's not 1968, because if it was 1968, he wouldn't have got pulled, that he kept him in, and he would have run the table. Maybe he'd have thrown 125, 130 pitches, but we were going to get beat tonight because we weren't hitting him. It wasn't even close. So the fact that we got him out of the game and gave us a chance, we got 8 runs in the 3rd. I'll talk about that. But Tanner Houck, man, that guy I think he might be the best pitcher I've seen this year, certainly against us. So we had 7 hits, didn't walk, struck out 12 times on the game, left 4 on base, 2 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Had an error, which I'll talk about. So it was pretty ugly, really, through the first 6-7 innings. I'll talk about the scoring. We did get 1 in the 7th, and it happened with 2 outs. So we're 2 outs in the 7th inning. Houck's still on the mound, and he lets one of his sliders drift too much, and he hits Michael Busch in the back left thigh. So he's on. Then Dansby follows him and ends up grounding like a CNI single. And then Mervis singles, scoring Busch. And he hit by a pitch, and Dansby didn't hit the ball that hard. And Mervis's hit was a ground ball to really where the first baseman would be, but for some reason this first baseman was playing 30 feet off the line. So there's this big hole between the first baseman, who's about 30 feet off the line, and the right field line, and Mervis just hit a 2-hop ground ball right through that little gap, scoring Busch. So that's how we got to Houck. Then in the 8th inning, 2 bloops and a blast is all that was. The bloops were PCA dropped a fly ball down the left field line for a single. Then Nico sliced a little line drive, little soft liner to right. So 2 runners on, and then Tauch just comes up and hits a 3-run bomb to dead center field, ties it up. So it all happened, and it happened that quick in the 8th. So that's all the scoring we had. We started with I would say the lineup we've had pretty much this whole week. Nico at second base, leading off. Tauch was in right field. Happer in left field hitting third. Morrell at third and cleanup. Bush at first base again hitting 5th. Dansby at shortstop hitting 6th. Mervis DHing hitting 7th. Amaya catching hitting 8th. And PCA in center field hitting 9th. Nico went 1 for 4. He had that slice single in the 8th, ended up scoring on Tauch's home run. Tauchman went 2 for 4, had a single in the 4th, the 3-run bomb in the 8th. Happer went 1 for 4, struck out twice, had a good hard single in the 4th to right field. Morrell went 0 for 4. He struck out 3 times, flew out to right field once. He's now hitting .210. So he made a little bit of a spurt, but he's still not right. Bush went 0 for 3 tonight reached on that hit by pitch in the 7th. Dansby went 1 for 4, had that single in the 7th, but he was robbed by the right fielder in the 5th inning. He had a really nice solid line drive, and that left fielder made a running catch headed toward the wall. So Dansby very easily could have been 2 for 4. Matt Mervis went 1 for 3. He had that RBI single in the 7th, struck out in the 5th, rolled over a ground ball out 4-3 in the 3rd inning for his first at bat. But I might as well tell you this now. In the 9th inning, something happened that I'm not happy about. Matt Mervis, they put Kenley Jansen in, their closer, righty. And so Kenley Jansen comes in the 9th, and he gets Dansby to go ground out 6-3. And now Mervis is up, and I'm thinking, okay, the righty, Mervis is going to run into one at some point. And I actually thought it was a pretty decent matchup for Mervis facing the big righty Kenley Jansen. I could be wrong on that, but I feel like that it was a pretty good matchup at that time. It's like he's due to get into one, and we need somebody to pop one. And Counsell pinch hits Madrigal for Mervis with 1 out in the 9th inning against Kenley Jansen. And, of course, Madrigal just popped up weakly to the third baseman. Madrigal's hitting .219. And I just don't – I know he's – okay, contact, I get it. He's worried that Mervis is going to strike out. But Kenley Jansen isn't the Kenley Jansen of old. He's not just blowing people away. I thought Mervis had a really good opportunity against him. So I'm a little raw on that. I'm not on board with pulling Mervis for Madrigal against Kenley Jansen with 1 out in the 9th, nobody on. You guys let me know what you think. Amaya goes 0 for 4. He has 3 strikeouts, so he didn't do anything offensively. PCA got that fly ball that dropped in left field. He scored on Tauch's home run. So he went 1 for 3. And again, PCA played a great center field. He didn't make anything great. Wasn't really an opportunity for him to do that. But he's really good out there. You know, he made a nice running catch. Maybe he made it look easier than it was. But so far, PCA is doing just fine. So let's go ahead and talk about the defensive side of the ball. Hayden Wesneski got the start in place of Jordan Wicks. And coming into the night, Wesneski had pitched 6 1/3 innings, just giving up 1 hit, 3 strikeouts. He had a .16 whip, a .050 average against. So just a reminder, that's what Hayden Wesneski came in. And he had a rough go. I'm going to break it down a little bit because I think it was you're going to maybe look at his line and see what he actually gave up, which his line is 4 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs. One earned run, walked a guy, struck out 3. His ERA is up to .87. He threw 63 pitches, 46 strikes. for the 4 innings. But it was a little rough situation for him, not his fault. First inning, he gets Duran on a 1 unassisted. Hayden Wesneski is a great athlete. He comes off the mound and fields this ball that Duran topped, fields it and kept his momentum and headed over to first base and stepped on the bag himself. Then Devers comes up and he reaches on E4. So they give Nico an error, but here's what happened. Bush, again, goes after a ball that he shouldn't. He's in no man's land. So this is a ground ball hit to Nico's left. And Nico's going to get there, no problem. He's in there in plenty of time. Bush comes over and crosses in front of Nico, like trying to make the play. Nico saw it, flinched, got out of sorts, and ends up not catching the ball. So it's a error on Nico, but it's Bush's fault. But Bush is still having all kinds of trouble determining where he's supposed to be, his spacing at first base. So that's, again, Hayden Wesneski is the recipient of a E4 on Devers when he got him out on a 2-hopper to Nico, and it didn't work out. He walked O'Neill. Abreu flew out to center, and then Wong singled to score the run. So there's the run unearned in the first inning. But prior to all that, in the O'Neill at bat, I felt like Hayden had gotten squeezed. According to K-Zone, he did. There was a couple balls that were strikes, so he got squeezed. He made that nice play, and he had that error that caused some issues. He gets through the second inning easily. Got Valdez to fly out to right field, and Dahlbeck got a single, but it was a swinging bunt, so he just topped it. That's the single he gave up in the second. Got Rafaela to pop up to Bush and Duran to strike out swinging. 11 pitches, 9 strikes. He's out of the second. So I'm watching this whole thing, and Wesneski's doing fine. Third inning, got another tough break. He gives up a 113-mile-an-hour single to Devers. That Devers can hit. Then he got O'Neill ground out comebacker to Wesneski, got it over to Bush. Then Abreu 3-1, and then Wong got a single on a ball hit to the third baseman. It was a ground ball that Morel was going to field. It hits the bag and bounces up. It hits the bag. So a run scores because a ground ball to third baseman hits the bag. So another tough break for Wesneski in the third inning. That's the other run. Fourth inning, he gets Dahlbeck looking. He gets Rafaela swinging, and he gets Duran to fly out to center field. Goes 1-2-3 on 10 pitches. That's his fourth inning. Hayden Wesneski had a good outing. He ran into some bad luck. None of it was his fault. So don't be worried if you look at the line and think Wesneski fell off. He was really good tonight. So Lovelady comes in, pitches the fifth. It was a good inning for Richard. Walked Devers to lead off. Got O'Neill looking. Abreu fly out to Tauch in right, and he got Wong to fly out to PCA in center field. Then Almonte came in, and Yancey pitched the sixth. Had a rough go. Yancey went 1 inning, gave up 2 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, had 2 strikeouts. So rough outing for Yancey, gave up 2 runs in that sixth. Then Daniel Palencia comes in, pitches the 7th and the 8th, and he's fantastic. Daniel Palencia goes 2 innings, strikes out 2, gives up no hits, nothing. His ERA is down to 4.5. He's topping off with that 4-seamer at 100 miles an hour. I mean, it is regularly 98, 99, 100. And the Sox that faced him, Abreu, Wong, Ref Snyder, Valdez struck out a 100-mile-an-hour heater, swung through it. Dahlbeck just looked at a slide piece, and Rafaela flied out to PCA. Palencia looked fantastic. Best I think I've ever seen Daniel Palencia look. So, and Lovelady looked good too. Lefty and righty came out of the pen and looked really good. So we tied the run on that bloop and a blast, 2 bloops and a blast in the 8th inning. And Mark Leiter Jr. comes in, pitches the 9th, and he just wasn't on tonight. He walks Duran to start, Devers singles, and then Duran takes third on Devers singles, so there's first and third. And O'Neill hits a pop-up behind Dansby, short left field. Hap's not going to get to it. Dansby's running out. Runners on first and third. And Dansby got to it, dropped it, didn't make the play. So that's how the game ended. It was a single. It would have been a great play if Dansby could have made it, but he didn't. And had he made it, I think he would have had time to gather himself and keep the run from scoring. Of course, then we'd have first and third and 1 out, probably play back for the double play, but we get a chance. Because the Duran, the runner on third base, he wasn't set up to tag when Dansby dropped the ball. He was probably 10, 12, 15 feet down the line for some reason. So had Dansby made that play, we would have lived to see another hitter at least, but he dropped it. So very disappointing. Felt bad, Mark Leiter Jr., but of course he was due to have a little bit of a rough outing. And but Wesneski looked fine. It was nice to kind of get back into it late. And we did that. So that's where we are. So we're going to head into Queens at 17-11 for a 4-game set against the Mets. And I'm going to have a Met scouting report video up for you guys by early a.m. So you can be looking for that. And it's a huge 4-game set for us. The Mets got good pitchers, and what I saw tonight, I was thinking, boy, some of those Met pitchers might be able to do that to us. A really good pitcher is going to be capable of holding down this lineup the way as depleted as it is. And that's what we ran into tonight. And it was a stark difference once Houck got out. And then we're into Chris Martin, and we were very capable then. But the top-level pitchers is just this lineup's not going to be able to handle that. So that's where we are. We've got a opening night with the Mets, 7:10 p.m. Eastern Time at Citi Field. Tyone versus Severino. So get a good night's sleep, turn the page, be ready to go tomorrow night, 7:10 Eastern Time for the opening game of the 4-game set with the Mets. Guys, thanks for joining us here on Randy Talks Cubs. I really appreciate it. We'll talk soon. Go Cubs, go.